All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put your pentatonic practice to the test. Okay, we've figured out how to play all 5 of these positions, how they connect together, how we can use the treadmill technique to shift into different keys. So now what we need to do is we need to start actually practicing with something, be it a jam track or a metronome or whatever it is that you would like to use. I'm going to be using a metronome at this point to show you the example. And what I want to use, I'm going to teach you a technique that I refer to as meandering. And what you're going to do, the rule to meandering is you're going to choose an element on your guitar, be it 1 position or 2 positions or 2 strings or something like that. And the rule of meandering is you are not allowed to stop. Okay? You're not creating music necessarily. What you're doing is you're trying to get your hands and your brain to coincide with what you're seeing on your guitar. So let me show you an example. I've got the metronome set at 120. Okay, so watch what happens. I'm going to brainlessly, I call it, move around the guitar playing quarter notes like this. No rhyme or reason, just playing to see how long my brain can continue doing this. Now, we're going to get faster as we go, but the trick is to see how well you actually know your fretboard now that you've been studying these scales. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm playing at 120 beats a minute, I'm playing quarter notes, and I'm just playing the first position. Now what I'm going to do is the same thing, only I'm going to start moving into the second position as well, and watch what happens. Again, I can't stop. Okay, just keep going to see how long I can do this without making a mistake or with getting brain tied, if you will. No. I know those well enough to where I could do that for quite a long time. So now what I'm going to do is the same thing, but I'm going to open up the whole fretboard, okay? So you could practice with 1 position, you could practice with 2 positions. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to practice with all 5 positions, just various places. I might use 1 string or 2 strings or whatever it might be. So let me show you again. Here we go. Just wherever. You see what I mean? I mean, it literally could be anywhere. Now, if you could do that 120 beats a minute and you could do it in all positions in the key of A minor or whatever key you want to practice in, and you're just flowing, you're there. Okay, you own those 5 positions or 2 positions or whatever it is that you're practicing at 120 beats a minute playing quarter notes. Now, at this point, what you can do is you can start raising the tempo of the metronome to figure out where your ideal speed is. Okay, so now let's say I go up to 150, okay, or even 160. I'm at 160. Okay, dun, 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 dun. Just anywhere. And what I want you to notice, I'm not just playing up and down the scales. That's a great exercise as well. But right now, I'm just trying to get used to the positions, okay? So now I'm going to go all the way up to 200. Okay. 1, 2, ready, go. See what I mean? Okay? So just all over the fretboard, right? So if I just start doing this, It doesn't matter where I go, whatever, right? I'll just keep going. Now, if I get back to, right now I'm at 200. Now, here's what I want you to understand about this. If I go back to 100, here we go, and I play eighth notes, which is 2 per click, I'm doing the same as I did at 200, at 1 per click. Okay, that's how the metronome works mathematically. So if I was doing 1 per click at 200, I can go back to 100 and start doing 2 per click. Because most metronomes don't go to 500, right? They only go to 220, 230, 240, somewhere around there. Okay, so now I'm here, but I'm thinking. Whatever it is I'm going to be doing, okay? So now let's say I go back to 120, and now I'm still doing eighth notes, so I'm going... da, 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 da. And so on, okay? So the point is that's a really great technique for you to practice to get comfortable with meandering, okay? Once you can visualize the shapes, you need to move into the second level, which is actually physically getting in there and making some music with it, okay? Now, what I want to show you to end this meandering idea, okay, to review, and then we'll do a little thing. So I'm starting off at whatever tempo. I just started at 120 doing quarter notes, which is 1 per click. And you might do just 1 position, or you might do 2 positions if you're learning that, or 3 positions, or whatever. Okay, don't be in any hurry. The goal is you want to get to the point where you really do see them and you really do understand them, right? When you look down, you can see how they're connecting together. Now it's a matter of taking the physicality and adding it to what you're seeing, okay? So you start off at 120 doing quarter notes. If it's too slow, you go up to 130 or 140 or 150 or whatever. You keep going until all of a sudden it becomes a bit of a struggle. You don't have to feel like every day you're going to be faster, because it doesn't work that way. Sometimes you might stay at the same speed for, a couple of days or a week or a month. As you start refining and start really pushing the levels of what you're capable of doing physically, it's going to take longer to get to the next level. Okay, it's kind of like when somebody goes out and goes, well, I've never run before, and I just ran around the block 2 times, and it wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. Oh, that's awesome. So, the next day you're doing 3 blocks, and all of a sudden you're doing 4 miles, and it's like, wow, this is a lot more work to go 4 miles. So you might have to stay at that 4 miles for a while until your body acclimates to it before you move to 5 miles or 6 miles or whatever it might be. So you got to learn to be in tune with your playing. You got to be in tune with how things feel as you're doing this stuff. So that's a really great technique, is to practice meandering. Now, the next step with meandering is, instead of playing all the time and never stopping, what you do is start breaking those meandering elements into pieces, and all of a sudden it begins to sound more like phrases, which is more of a musical element. So let me show you that. So now I'm at 120. Going da 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 da. Just playing whatever, right? But instead of doing that forever, I'm going to start doing this. So now all of a sudden it begins to feel more like music, because I'm actually breaking the meandering into pieces like I would when I actually play. And here's the real big kicker, okay, that you need to understand, is that when you go to improvise over the top of a song, the misconception is like you're supposed to have like 700 licks that you can play. You're never going to remember 700 licks, okay? What happens is you use this idea of meandering as like a thread or a membrane through your solo. So while you're meandering through the fretboard, you're stopping and starting at different places and doing things, and all of a sudden a lick or a pattern might occur to you, or a technique like tapping or something might occur to you as you're meandering. So you see, that really is the first step into authentic soloing, is learning your fretboard, being able to meander across your fretboard, start breaking it into pieces, and then start responding musically, right? So if I'm going... You see, all of a sudden it begins to sound more and more and more like music. So I'm using my knowledge of the fretboard, I'm using the meandering technique, chopping it into pieces, and then start using some musical elements. Now again, that goes into a whole other conversation, right? But it's getting us there. It's getting us to another level in our playing, which is really, really important. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you to really develop this, okay? So check that out. When you're feeling good, come on back and let's move on to the next one.